Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video, I'm going to be counting down my picks for the top 10 ice Pokemon in the trading card game. But before we begin, I wanted to let you all know that only about 24% of my viewers are actually subscribed to this channel, so if you like the content that I'm putting out, consider leaving a subscribe, it really does help me a lot. Okay, now on to the video. Like I said, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 picks for ice Pokemon in the trading card game, but as many of you already know, there's no such thing as an ice type in the TCG, with all ice Pokemon being categorized as water Pokemon, so I'll be using the video game's classification of ice Pokemon for this video. Starting off at number 10, we have Walrein from Hidden Legends. It came with the Poke Power and 1 attack. The Poke Power was Crush Draw, which allowed Walrein to look at the top card of the deck once per turn, and if it was a basic energy card, it could be attached to any Pokemon on its side of the field, otherwise it was placed back on top of the deck. And the attack was Sheer Cold, which needed 2 water energies and 1 colorless energy to deal 50 damage and would also flip a coin, and if it got heads, the opposing Pokemon would not be able to attack on the following turn. Walrein was the focus of its own deck in the 2004 format, as it had access to energy acceleration, though it did rely on the top card of the deck being a basic energy for the ability to work, which is why it was paired with the supporter Oracle, which let the player place any 2 cards from the deck on top of the deck, and then would guarantee Walrein up to 2 extra energy attachments per turn. Its Sheer Cold attack could also function as Disruption, which would force the opponent to expend resources in retreating their active Pokemon in order to attack for the turn. At number 9, we have Reggie Ice from Legends Awakened. It came with the Poke Power and 1 attack. The Poke Power was Reggie Move, which could be used once per turn to discard 2 cards from the player's hand and would then force the opponent to switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon if their active was not evolved. And the attack was Ice Reflect, which needed 2 water energies and 1 colorless energy to deal 50 damage, and if Regice was damaged during the previous turn, the opposing Pokemon would also be paralyzed. This Reggie Ice was used for its Poke Power, allowing the player to swap out the opponent's active Pokemon in place for a weaker one for taking easy knockouts, though it did come with the downside that the ability did not work on evolved Pokemon, and the opponent also got to choose their new active Pokemon, but the disruption was still really good. Plus, its cost of discarding 2 cards from the hand could actually be an upside, as it helped Gyarados decks get Magikarp into the discard pile to boost Gyarados' attack power, and could also be used to help Regigigas decks get basic energy cards into the discard pile to be accelerated by Regigigas' sacrifice ability. At number 8, we have Frostmoth from Sword and Shield. It came with an ability and 1 attack. The ability was Ice Dance, which could be used as often as the player liked per turn to attach water energies from the hand to bench water Pokemon. And the attack was Aurora Beam, which needed 1 water energy and 1 colorless energy to deal 30 damage. Frostmoth has seen consistent use since its release at the beginning of the 8th generation, as energy acceleration is good in any format. It has been paired with a lot of different attackers, like Lapras VMAX, Inteleon VMAX, and most recently, it has been placed alongside the Inteleon line, Radiant Greninja, Crabominable V, and Starmie V, all of which have seen success across the Sword and Shield format. At number 7, we have Abomasnow from Stormfront. It came with the Poke Body and 2 attacks. The Poke Body was Snow Veil, which activated when it was in the active spot and would reduce all damage done by the opponent's Pokemon to all Pokemon on the player's side of the field by 20. The first attack was Snowplay, which needed 2 colorless energies to deal 20 damage and would also hit each of the opponent's non-grass and non-water Pokemon for 20 damage each. And the second attack was Below Zero, which needed 1 water energy and 2 colorless energies to deal 60 damage, and if it was used on the turn that Abomasnow evolved, it would also paralyze the opposing Pokemon. Abomasnow was part of a powerful deck in the 2010 World Championships, played alongside Ampharos from Platinum, as its Damage Bind Poke Body would shut off all the opponent's Poke Powers on Pokemon that had any damage counters on them. So by using Abomasnow's Snowplay attack to spread damage, it was possible to shut off all the opponent's Poke Powers. The deck could also disrupt the opponent with Spiritomb from Arceus, as its Keystone Seal Pokebody would lock all trainer cards from being played while it was in the active spot, and Abomasnow could inflict paralysis on the opposing Pokemon with this Below Zero attack to prevent the opposing Pokemon from attacking on the following turn. At number 6, we have Articuno from Fossil. It came with 2 attacks. The first attack was Freeze Dry, which needed 3 water energies to deal 30 damage and would also flip a coin, and if it got heads, it would paralyze the opposing Pokemon. And the second attack was Blizzard, which needed 4 water energies to deal 50 damage and would then flip a coin. If it got heads, it would deal 10 damage to each of the opponent's benched Pokemon, but if it got tails, it would hit its own benched teammates for 10 damage each. Now normally having attack costs of 3 and 4 would have been really bad for a Pokemon in the early formats, as energy removal and super energy removal made it difficult to power up such expensive attacks, but luckily Articuno had the perfect partner in Blastoise, as Blastoise had the Pokemon power Rain Dance, which let the player accelerate as many water energies as they wanted from their hand to their water Pokemon, meaning that Articuno's attacks could be powered up in a single turn. Articuno also helped boost the power of the Rain Dance deck, as they now had access to a powerful basic Pokemon that had no weakness and would resist the common Hitmonchan of the format. Articuno's attacks could take 2-hit KOs against most Pokemon in the era, paralyzing them on the first turn with Freeze Dry, and then finishing them off with Blizzard on the following turn. At number 5, we have Ice Rider Calorex VMAX from Chilling Reign. It came with 2 attacks. The first attack was Rite of the High King, which needed 2 colorless energies to deal 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each of the opponent's benched Pokemon. And the second attack was Max Lance, which needed 2 water energies to deal 10 damage and could also discard up to 2 energy from Calorex to deal 120 damage for each energy discarded. Ice Rider Calorex was a powerful VMAX Pokemon in the 8th generation that saw a lot of play alongside fellow Water-type legendary Palkia V-Star, as Palkia could accelerate up to 3 water energy from the discard pile with its Star Portal ability, allowing it to attack quickly. Its Rite of the High King attack could take KOs against smaller Pokemon, and it could take down opposing VMAX Pokemon in 2 hits, provided the opponent had a full bench Pokemon. Its Max Lance attack could 1-hit KO most Pokemon, especially V-Star Pokemon, which tend to max out at 280 HP, so with the Choice Belt, Calorex could knock out opposing Palkia V-Star, Arceus V-Star, and Lugia V-Star, all popular attackers of the Sword and Shield era. At number 4, we have Glaceon Level X from Majestic Dawn. It came with the Pokebody and 1 attack. The Pokebody was Chilly Breath, which activated when Glaceon was in the active spot and would shut off all the opponent's Poke powers. And the attack was Avalanche, which needed 2 water energies and 1 colorless energy to deal 70 damage and would then flip a coin, and if it got heads, it would inflict 20 damage to each of the opponent's benched Pokemon. Glaceon was the main Pokemon in a 2008 deck used by Asa Juntunen, sorry if I mispronounced your name, and it made it all the way to the top 8 of the World Championships that year. The deck worked by locking the opponent out of their resources by using Absol from Secret Wonders and the supporter Team Galactic Mars to strip cards from the opponent's hand. Once Glaceon Level X came into play, it would shut off the opponent's Poke powers while spreading damage with its Avalanche attack. And for added disruption, the deck also ran Jirachi EX from Crystal Guardians, whose Shield Beam attack would also shut off opposing Poke powers, and Crystal Beach to shut off the popular Double Rainbow Energy and Scramble energies. At number 3, we have Alolan Ninetales GX from Guardians Rising. It came with 2 attacks and a GX attack. The first attack was Ice Blade, which needed 2 colorless energies to then choose one of the opponent's Pokemon and deal 50 damage to that Pokemon. The second attack was Blizzard Edge, which needed 2 water energies and 1 colorless energy to deal 160 damage, but would then discard 2 energy from Ninetales. And the GX attack was Ice Path GX, which needed 2 colorless energies to move all damage counters from Ninetales onto the opposing active Pokemon. Ninetales was the center of a strong deck in the 2017 format. Both of its attacks were good for either sniping or taking big knockouts, and its GX attack was great for both healing and heavily damaging the opponent, making it scary to damage because it could just send all that damage back to sender. Plus, as a water Pokemon, it had support from the Stadium Rough Seas, letting it heal 30 damage from itself every turn, and Aqua Patch could attach discarded water energies onto benched Ninetales. Ninetales GX was strong enough that it won the 2017 World Championships in the Senior Division. At number 2, we have Curem from Plasma Freeze. It came with 2 attacks. The first attack was Frost Spear, which needed 1 water energy and 1 colorless energy to deal 30 damage and would also deal 30 damage to one of the opponent's benched Pokemon. And the second attack was Blizzard Burn, which needed 2 water energy and 1 colorless energy to deal 120 damage, but it could not be used during the following turn. Curem was one of the primary attackers of the Team Plasma deck during the 2013 and 2014 formats, a deck known for its incredible speed and power. As a Team Plasma Pokemon, Curem's attacks could be quickly fueled by the item Calorex Machine, attaching a plasma energy from the deck, allowing it to start attacking on its first turn in play. And its attack power could be boosted by Deoxys EX's Power Connect ability, which would boost the attack power of all Team Plasma Pokemon by 10 for each Deoxys in play. Curem's second attack could be boosted enough to take 1-hit KOs against full HP EX Pokemon by combining with multiple Deoxys, Muscle Band, and Hypnotoxic Laser with Verbank City Gym in play, increasing the poison damage of Hypnotoxic Laser from 10 to 30 between turns. all of which combined to make Curem one of the best single prize attackers in the EX format. And finally at number 1, we have Sneasel from Neo Genesis. It came with 2 attacks. The first attack was Fury Swipes, which needed 1 colorless energy to flip 3 coins and would then deal 10 damage for each heads. And the second attack was Beat Up, which needed 2 darkness energies to flip a coin for each Pokemon on the player's side of the field and would then deal 20 damage times the number of heads. Now at first glance, Sneasel doesn't look like very much, especially by today's standards, but at the time of its release, it was easily the strongest Pokemon in terms of raw attack power. So to understand its power, we have to take a look at the early formats of the game. The top Pokemon were the big basics Mewtwo and Rocket Zapdos. Mewtwo could consistently hit for 40 damage and was a good Pokemon to use against energy removal, as it could repeatedly get its energy back with its first attack. And Rocket Zapdos could also get its energy back with its Plasma attack and deal big damage with its second attack in exchange for damaging itself. And then along came Sneasel. Its Speed Up attack only needed 2 energy, which was pretty cheap for a strong attack, and could deal up to 120 damage if the player had a full bench, which could be further boosted by the newly released Darkness Energy, increasing its attack power by 10 for each Darkness Energy attached. It also came with no weakness, a resistance to psychic Pokemon like the aforementioned Mewtwo, and it had a free retreat cost, essentially making it the perfect Pokemon. Sneasel redefined what a basic Pokemon could be in the format, and proved to be so strong that it was actually the very first card to be banned in the trading card game because it was deemed too powerful, which is why it has come in at number 1 on this list. So which is your favorite Ice-type Pokemon? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.